Welcome back, I'm Levi. We have some cool topics today. We're going to be talking about getting some tuck in that pelvis, balancing out muscles, why joints move, how they interact, how pain comes into play, how to understand it from a level of empowerment where you can begin to make some drastic differences in your body. Get more range of motion, feel good, align your body. The more aligned it is, the less in pain it is, and the more it can thrive and have just a great time being exactly where you're at right now. If you missed our last video, go back and watch it. It's very informative to this video. Otherwise, dive into this one. It's the next step in turning your core on and getting your life right. All right, muscle balancing. It is a pretty cool topic. It basically explains how we move, and we're going to be supporting it later with a pelvic tuck. So just a quick preface. I think a lot of us in our bodies, some of us know we're in pain, some of us feel great, but a lot of us live in this gray zone where there's a lot of discomforts that just feel like a normal part of life. And you know what? They are, but I want to also add a new normal, which is addressing them and feeling great. There is a way to feel great in your body. You may think you feel great now, but wait until we address and unwind some of the years that have stacked some distortions into your posture, and I think you will be able to leave room for a new definition of what great feels like. And as you do these, pay attention. Listen to your body. Listen to how it moves, how far it moves, how well it moves. Is there an ease of movement as you do these things? Is there a new awareness? Feeling great in your body is something I want to help you explore and redefine, because I want you to, by the end of this, to feel amazing. So let's get into joint balancing, muscle balancing. Any joint that moves is the action, to put it very simply, of at least one muscle on either side of that joint doing a tug of war, kind of like a pulley system. So let's say for my wrist, for example, I have my forearm flexors. When they shorten, they pull the wrist towards them, but only because at the same time, or split microseconds afterwards, the extensors have to lengthen. Does that make sense? So when these shorten on this side, pulling the joint towards it, these have to lengthen. They have to work in synergy from a brain level, a neurology level, to allow movement to happen. And that's all well and amazing. Ideally, when it's at rest, it should come back to neutral. However, our bodies are built to adapt. So if we are using it consistently in one way, let's say we're using it for flexion in a lot of ways, typing on the computer, driving, eating, sleeping curled up, whatever it is, your body begins to say, for efficiency purposes, we're just going to keep it pulled into this position. There are other reasons it will do this, but the way you use your body tends to be how it informs your posture. So let's say we use your forearm flexors a lot. What tends to happen, these muscles not only flex your wrist, but parts of your hand. So it keeps you flexed. This muscle stays short, these muscles stay long. If you think about it kind of like fabric, if I was to shorten fabric in my shirt and just hold it for maybe years on end, by the time I let it go, it's actually still very healthy. It's still in one piece. It is still unstressed, so to speak. But if I were to take my material and stretch it for a long period of time, you can imagine that the fibers would begin to weaken. They might begin to fray, they might begin to tear. Maybe my shirt would rip. It's the same with the muscles that are overstretched. So these ones that are short, causing the joint to pull towards it, are safe because they're contracted, they're protected, they're in on themselves. But the other ones are being made to overstretch, like that fabric. It's stressing. The cool thing about our bodies, it's living, it's replenishing, but over time it can still cause stress. It can still cause occasional pain. It can even build to a place where it handicaps you, causes carpal tunnel, causes all kinds of stuff. A lot of people, a lot of modalities will tend to go to where the pain is and address it. But really, with what I've just explained to you, hopefully it stands to reason that is actually caused by the muscles that are shortening. So in order to ease these up, we don't even have to go into them and do work on them. We need to chill out the muscle that's pulling the joint so that these can calm down. We can take it a step further even, strengthen these to support that whole area. This concept is the same across every joint in your body. Different muscles, some of them a little bit more complex, some of them have multiple ranges of motion. But keep it that simple. because it really is as simple as stretching the shortened muscles. It can help to chill out the lengthened muscles to deal with symptoms. We're going to start by demonstrating that in the body with pelvic tucks. Be aware that in a disorganized joint, disorganized meaning out of neutral, and that's where it just sits in your day-to-day posture. In a disorganized area, your brain will tend to be disconnected from it to an extent because it's had to have been in order to allow you to continue functioning well in your life. So ideally, you're going to find that this is a building of awareness throughout your body, mastering every joint. And then we begin to join those together in later videos. But with that said, we're going to work through this joint. We're going to keep it simple. We're going to do it in the hips to demonstrate. This concept applies anywhere in your body. Don't be disheartened if you're having a very hard time finding a move. We'll have tips and tricks to get you there. Spend a little time doing it. Again, based off our first video, First Resistance, we want to take all stress out of the equation. We want to get you to the point where your body knows its limit of stress before it gets into guarding, because that's where change is going to happen. So don't allow yourself to stress out with this. If you start feeling yourself tense or freak or get emotional, all of those are normal signs. Don't worry about it. Take a deep breath, take a step back from it, reset, keep on trying. You will get there. And it's going to do some really cool things for your body. So let's get into the pelvic tuck. Here we are, going to show you how to move well. So today we are covering pelvic tilt. We talked about muscle balancing, how a joint moves. We're going to get you in a grounded position on the floor. Very simple, very safe, should work for anyone. If it doesn't work for you to get on the floor, lie on your bed and do this. Lie on the couch. If you are one of the few that are needing to do this in a recliner, give it a try. Give it your best go. Recline back, put your feet up. Just get your pelvis to tilt back and forth as much as you can. Otherwise, this is our ground level entry position. So Hannah, if you will go ahead and lie back, feet towards the wall. The first thing we're going to have you do is take some pressure off the back, just to allow for a more productive movement. Let's go ahead and bend your knees up. In this one, we're going to keep a hip width at the knees and feet, unlike the last video. Our focus here is in the hips. So if you want to put your hands around your hips, Hannah, and feel where your hip bones are. These are the areas we're going to be moving. Here in your belly button, I'm going to have you engage it down into the floor. So all of you here watching at home, I'm going to have you pin your belly button down into the floor. You're already going to feel your abdomen begin to engage. Remember, the purpose of this series of videos, all of them, is to get you to a place where your abs can naturally turn on. If your abs are turning on their own without you thinking about them, it means that your pelvis, your hips, are probably in a really good position. So if you want a clear, concise sign as to are your abs engaged, are your hips nice and level, it's just going to be in your day-to-day activity, your abs showing up for you. And that's a really good sign, and that's what we're heading towards. So to do this pelvic tuck effectively, what I'm going to have Hannah do is begin to tuck her tailbone. I think about it kind of like, I have a client who calls it bad dog position, where there's a dog that's tucking its tail between its legs. So if you imagine your tailbone having a tail and you're trying to tuck it up in and around through your legs, I think about a circle right here. We're taking the tailbone, scooping it under, we're taking the abs, pulling it in, so everything is rotating this way. So Hannah now should feel her abdomen pulling towards the floor. She should feel her tailbone lifting off the floor, her lower back pushing into the floor. And if we want to add another layer of this for abdominal engagement, I want her to think about pulling her hips, her belly button up and under her sternum and rib cage. Do you feel your abs kicking even more doing that?
I do, yeah.
Now, this is not a move you have to hold the position. Hannah's doing a great job here. Ideally, I just want to do it in repetition. So relax to the ground, Hannah. And breathe in as you relax. As you breathe out, tuck it back under. And Hannah's going to be doing this in repetition as I continue to explain some of the value points to you. As Hannah does these, I want each and every move, again, to be stress-free. We don't want to trigger guarding. We don't want to trigger pain. If any of this is painful for you, reset and focus just the tuck around the tailbone. For some of you, it's going to look odd. It's going to be hard to find this. You're going to want to actually lift your whole back off the floor like a bridge. Make it really simple. It might not be this big of a tuck. And I are related, so we work together a lot to do a lot of alignment stuff in her body. And she has created this much range of motion as you will as you continue this work. So, Hannah, what would you tell someone who's new to this, knowing kind of the process you've been through, kind of training your hips to know how to tuck like this? You don't normally start here, right? You start with a little less range of motion and you develop this.
Right. Yeah, this has been a process to get this much movement in my hips. So it's been a matter of multiple sessions to release hip tension and just doing a lot of awareness work to know what I need to actually be moving. And so to be at this point where I have this much range of motion is new for me, and it feels really good.
What kind of changes do you notice as you get more range of motion in this tuck and hips? Do you feel it in your day-to-day posture? Do you feel it as an ease through your movement? What do you feel?
Oh my goodness, I feel it in everything. Yes, day-to-day activity for sure. In my posture and having more comfort when I sit, not having to change my position so often to find a comfortable place. Definitely just in walking, feeling more strength in my core because my hips are more balanced. So in everything, I would say it affects every aspect of life.
Nice.
Yeah.
So in order to make this effective, you don't need it a whole lot. I would say even if you just got to this position and did 10 tucks a day, you can actually change your posture and change your life through that. You can definitely get away with doing a lot more of these. The corrective strategies I show you are really hard to overdo. So it's not like a normal movement where I put you in a push-up and then your body exhausts and it runs out of energy and it needs time to recover. This type of movement in and of itself is recovery. So you can tend to get away with doing lots of them, hundreds of them if you wanted to. What I would recommend to do, instead of giving you a set amount, if you need an amount, do 10 a day or do 10 3 times a day. You can do them in a single setting, you can do them throughout the day, whatever your preference is. If you wanted to do them right as soon as you get up while you're still in bed, great option for those of you who are stiff and wanting some means to get moving. Great option for those who get restless when they lay down, just to kind of set their body into a neutral. But if you wanted to go intuitively with your body, do it, explore this movement until your body feels like it's tiring, and then give it a break. And if you do this a little bit every day, you're going to begin to level out your hips, begin to engage your abs, and also you're setting your entire body into a position that eases everything. The hips are really like the keystone. If you think about an archway, that one in the middle that holds everything together and in place. If that shifts and is out, the whole archway structure shifts. Same with your body, but as we put it in the right spot, it levels out. And that's what we're looking to do. So play around with this, do a little bit every day. Get up and walk a little bit in between it. It helps your whole body align to the movement. And we will see you in the next video. Alright, hope you've enjoyed this video. Quick recap, went over pelvic tuck, we went over joint balancing, how joint moves via the muscles, why pain comes to play, how to address it, how to unwind it. Our next video we're going to be talking about fascia. It's literally the thing that joins our whole body together. It integrates it. So it takes joints and makes them a continuous movement. Interesting thing about fascia, it pulls towards somewhere, it pulls from everywhere. It's a quick teaser as to why you could have pain, different parts of your body that might stem from elsewhere. So, do some of those pelvic tucks, start to open up those hips, continue changing your life, one step closer to turning on those abs and really feeling them grab. And we're excited to have you here. Join us next time.